Hello everyone, welcome to coverage of the semi-finals of Grand Prix Turin 2017. Rich Hagen, your host, alongside Matej Big Z Zatlkai, and we are gearing up for Blue-Black Control Robin Dolar, the third seed, coming in against the number 2 seed, Dario Parazzoli, on Mono Black Zombies. So, Matej, obviously we expect Parazzoli to be making the early running. How will we know not just that he's far enough ahead?
Enough creatures on the board with nothing on Robin's side, I would say is the main thing. The good thing about Robin is he presents some valuable threats. He has Scarab God, which is a great blocker, cannot be killed by just Grasp of Darkness. He also has the Torrential Gearhulks, which are great, can give him a bunch of time and a win condition as well. But this might be quite important. Here's a Relentless Dead, and we just touched on it. It's a fairly resilient threat as long as Dario keeps some mana open. But there will be spots in this game where Dario will be forced to play something more expensive, like a Liliana's Mastery, for example, which I think he has in his hand.
Okay.
So that means that that could be the moment where Robin, if he can manage to counter the Mastery and then untap and kill the Relentless Dead while Dario's tapped out, he could be in decent shape.
Right. So are sensors going to be much use here for...
I mean, as long as Dario knows about them and can play around them,
which of course he knows about them.
Yeah, it depends on how much pressure Dario can put Robin under, because this is basically the name of the game. If Robin is forced to spend mana responding to the threats of Dario and cannot draw cards with Glimmer of Geniuses and the like, then the better it is for Dario, obviously, and he can maybe tap out a little bit more here and there.
So Grasp of Darkness for Dolar, who did mulligan to 6 to open this, so he starts 1 card down. On the draw, he gets that card back in a sense, but of course cedes the advantage of going second. So Parazzoli, Robin Dolar is going to do a lot of passing the turn in the early games as the Relentless Dead starts living up to its name and popping in for a couple of damage. So we're underway on the life bar. And Dario Parazzoli with the Crypt Breaker. Ta-da! The doors burst open and in comes Crypt Breaker with the card draw engine par excellence, which again, Robin Dolar doesn't want to see that on the board. Fatal Push says bye-bye to the Breaker. Yeah,
also, cycling a sensor, clear signal that Robin needs lands, needs mana. Look at that. He's going to play a tapped Fetid Pulse, which also indicates that he's not very rich on mana. Still gets to leave up some stuff open, but it could have been problematic. There's a Lord of the Accursed.
Love that card. Down it comes, and already pumping up. And more removal. Dolar's done really well in terms of the sense that he's had his removal spells, not his counter spells, which perhaps weren't going to be quite so powerful. He's not doing badly here. It's 16.
Yeah, 5th land as well. Very important, because now he can not only play Glimmer of Genius, but he can also play a Fatal Push that he still has left in hand. He kept the hand with a lot of removal. I think he has even 2 Fatal Pushes in his hand. And look now, exactly as I talked about. Now there's a Liliana Mastery. Robin will let that resolve, but it will give him the opportunity to kill the Relentless Dead, to relieve at least some pressure, and then he can play the Glimmer and hopefully find something like Land Torrential Gearhulk, or just even Scarab God as a nice beefy blocker.
And yet more, there it is, yet Fatal Push, and now here comes Glimmer for energy and card draw. Great package for 4 mana. There's Liliana's Mastery, another Lord effect, as we say. Your creatures get +1/+1. Even newer players are going to get very used to Lord effects, because we're off to Ixalan soon.
Yeah, top card was a Swamp and a Sensor, I think, from Robin. I think he's going to keep the land, and he's hoping... Oh, he actually kept the Sensor and found a Scarab God.
Wow.
Interesting. Will the Scarab God be enough, though? Because those zombies, I think Dario has another Liliana's Mastery in his hand, so those zombies are going to be 4/4s. Still, Scarab God can handle that, but of course he can be run over.
I thought we'd got rid of the 4/4 zombies deck from the top 8, as it were. There's the Scarab God. No, it's like that's the theme, isn't it? 4/4 zombies everywhere.
4/4 zombies everywhere. But also for Dario, it's not just the zombie tokens that are going to be 4/4. It's going to pump up his other zombies that are coming. With a Lord of the Accursed, for example, that can be quite nasty there.
So Dolar passes without a 6th land, which is kind of significant in terms of the ability to play a Torrential Gearhulk and the threat of a Torrential Gearhulk.
Now you see why he kept the sensor. He kind of smelled that Dario wasn't playing that much in the early turns, so he probably wanted to keep the sensor to prevent something like this exactly happening. Also can fatal push a token away to effectively get some life back. And he also has a Supreme Will in his hand, so he might not play the Scarab God just yet, especially because he also drew a Glimmer of Genius. So okay, never mind.
It's time.
Yep.
It's like when God is on your side, it's time to get him out there, as it were. The Scarab God comes down, and Dario Parazzoli, who's down to 2 cards now, draws a 3rd. That looked like a Relentless Dead.
Yep, and he also has Diagraph Colossus, which is quite good here because there are already quite a few creatures in his graveyard.
Owleet's World asks which deck won the other semi. We're only just underway with our semi-finals, so it's 0-0 currently in Marius Heuser with Temur Energy against Leon van der Linden with Mardu Vehicles, and we will get across there after game 1 of this match.
Oof, look at how big the Diagraph Colossus is, 5/5. And Relentless Dead coming as well. Robin Dolar might regret tapping out here.
Yeah. The board looked so innocent a little minute, just a moment ago, and now here's Parazzoli with that Liliana's Mastery threatening all kinds of extra damage. A huge Diagraph Colossus. Well, it is a Colossus, so fair enough. Relentless Dead plus the 2 zombie tokens. I'm not sure you could say the Scarab God is lonely precisely, but it is alone.
Robin now thinking whether he wants to activate the Scarab God in his upkeep with a trigger on the stack.
2 cards, 1 on the other side for Parazzoli, who is tapped out, so Dolar knows he can do what he wants here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it activation time?
Well, Robin takes his time. We know that. He's a deliberate player, but not in a bad sense. He just always recognizes that there's a wealth of options. Ooh. Oh. No, not good. Flaying Tendrils. A good card in a vacuum, but after Liliana's Mastery has resolved, that card basically is a do-nothing. As you can see, the board is a bunch of 3/3s, and the Colossus is actually a 6/6 already, thanks to the Mastery and the 3 counters. So
yeah. Let's make everything not relevantly smaller.
Yeah, and speaking of which, let's make it even bigger.
Now.
But I think Robin will have to Supreme Will this.
Right, I mean, you can't.
Yeah, it would be just too much, too many cards. It would just go wide. That Dario Parazzoli could then just start swinging and completely ignore the fact that there's a Scarab God defending the fort. Drawing 3 Liliana's Mastery is very good for Dario.
So Parazzoli looking to pile in.
Okay, not afraid. I mean, it's still a lot of damage. The Scarab God can block the tokens without a problem. The Relentless Dead has Menace, so he can't block that one. And the Colossus is a 6/6, so he can either try to make his board better or prevent more damage by blocking the Diagraph Colossus.
Thing is, if he blocks just 1 token, is he down to 1?
6, 9. Yeah, he would be down to 1. It is most definitely a big problem.
And that's sort of his best block.
Yep. So down to 1.
Take 12 down to 1. There's no approach into approach here for Robin. That's not an option. Is there anything?
I don't think so. It's just so far behind. The turn with the Diagraph Colossus and the Relentless Dead generated so much advantage, and when the Liliana's Mastery played just too much. Remember, Robin Dolar has no way to deal with enchantments, so the Flame Tendrils would theoretically been good without Liliana's Mastery, but it's not going away anytime soon. Okay, so now in the upkeep he's going to take... doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah, he's now realizing that if he takes a creature, there is no card that he can draw to deal with the situation. But I don't think there are such cards anyway. No. There's at this point, I don't think there's anything.
People have been joking on and off today in chat and on social media and indeed in the booth about Bontu's Last Reckoning.
Okay.
But is that a card that you can see potentially shoring up some of these aggressive matchups? They do seem to be. Standard does still seem to be very creature centric. Can you imagine that being just 2 in the sideboard for a blue-black control deck?
Unfortunately, the problem with Bontu's Reckoning, especially in this heavy hitter format, is that you maybe sweep something, but your opponent almost always has some sort of follow-up. The decks are fairly resilient.
Mm-hmm.
So, we saw something like Glorybringer, after Fumigate or just a bunch of other creatures. And because you don't get that untap step, like those creatures, the follow-up creatures are just going to be really, really problematic.
Yeah, this is very problematic for Robin Dolar, sufficiently so that Dario Parazzoli with Mono Black Zombies, Jerry Thompson wins the Pro Tour, and here we are coming down the back end of Standard, and the Zombie Menace is continuing apace, literally menace in some cases.
And you know what I'm most excited about?
Mm-hmm.
I just glanced at Dario Parazzoli's sideboard. You know what he has? He has a Triskai Decophobia, a 1-of in his sideboard. He really does. Yeah. And I don't know how exactly he wants to use it, but one of the ways is because of if near Deadlands, you can ping yourself.
Okay.
1 each. Crypt Breaker also, you hurt yourself. So maybe you can find a way where you can win the game if you get the player to 13.
Oh my god. That's like winning the lottery, isn't it? Really, but maybe a little bit more likely than that.
As in, he can control his life totals very nicely, and he can attack with creatures as well. So, as a 1-of, I find that very, very spicy. Well,
here we go, as promised, with match number 2, which sees an Ethersphere Harvester, a Thopter, a Thraben Inspector, a Rogue Refiner, a Sky Sovereign Console Flagship, and a Bristling Hydra with 1 counter on it, plus 5 energy available to the Team Energy player, which is Marius Heuser. He's down at 7. Leon van der Linden with the Mardu vehicles, who, having dispatched red-white vehicles in the quarterfinals, is at 26. And right now we're just getting rid of a Rogue Refiner, is where we've joined. So Leon van der Linden taps mana, and here is a Walking Ballista for 2, I do believe. Yep, there it is. So that brings us pretty much up to date in terms of what's actually out there on the board state. But what's really going on in the game, Matej? Any sense yet?
Well, Walking Ballista is threatening the life total in a way of Marius Heuser. And remember, the cut to ribbons, that is a 1-of in Leon van der Linden, that can also threaten to finish the game. It's going to deal 4 damage now. The Ballista can deal 2. So Marius Heuser is effectively at 1 life. Plus, he has the Thopter, Thraben Inspector, Ethersphere Harvester all to worry about. But already having a Sky Sovereign is nice. I'm just wondering if Leon now has everything that's needed for the win.
Yeah, certainly. I've seen him a couple of times today, and the Ethersphere Harvester has definitely done great work in this particular Standard format this weekend. It's been very, very good for him. Yeah,
and his opponent, Bardini, in the quarterfinals, he was running the red-white version. He was actually playing 4 Ethersphere Harvesters and 4 Heart of Kirin. They were just not messing up. They just wanted the best vehicles available in the format. Even though, speaking of vehicles, Sky Sovereign,
pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. So here's a Glorybringer. 4 energy left.
This is a very complicated spot for Marius Heuser because his Glorybringer attacking and his Sky Sovereign attacking can shoot down something, but he would then be firmly in the danger of dying. He sees the cut to ribbons, so he has to find the right block. Okay, so he's going to go for Glorybringer and exerts it.
So, big moment here. Will we bring it in? Leon van der Linden tapped out. And I believe cardless as well in hand. So Heuser has 2 cards left. to try and turn things around.
But Heuser needs something else for 2 mana as well, because Heuser is going to be down to 5, and just the ribbons part of Cut to Ribbons combined with the 2 creatures that Leon has on the board should be enough. Even just the land, just to go for the full 5, unless there's like something like a negate, which I don't think Marius runs in the main deck.
I mean, he has the mana to represent it.
Yeah, he could play Magma Spray to kill one of the creatures. It looks like he's going to play something else though. He drew a Gideon though, so he's going to play it slow here. Or he could just go for nah, emblems not great here.
So it's going to be night time here. And talking of night time, if you're in Europe,
never mind.
Smash.
Yeah, so he goes for the token and animates the Harvester. He's going to put down Heuser down to 3 here. Thinking if he should gain some life, Leon van der Linden. He can use the Ethersphere Harvester. Decides against it. Alright, so Heuser down to 3.
So no longer exerted, but the Glorybringer is still tapped, of course, so no help there.
Yeah, and also, you might be asking, why didn't he go for lethal there? He had lethal. Leon respects Marius. Marius was leaving up 2 mana, and we talked about Magma Spray, Harness Lightning, Abrade. All these cards can come down, kill one of the 2 attacking creatures, and block the other one. And then the Cut to Ribbons would have been 1 short, and Marius maybe would have threatened to take over the game from that point on. So Leon just playing it slow, playing it this way, he made sure that Marius would be low enough for the Cut to Ribbons to matter. Yeah,
there's a suggestion that he forgot about ribbons.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Leon play the ribbons on once he untaps, because now Marius flooded the board. He can start swinging for big chunks. Like he's probably going to try to kill the Gideon with the Sky Sovereign. No, Sky Sovereign going to go at the face. The Hydra is going to take down the Gideon. And yeah, Marius feeling maybe safe against the creatures in play, because now he has a Virtuoso as well to create 2 additional Thopters. But I think Leon is just going to go for... Yeah, he probably just said, like, I'm going to ribbons you.
Ribbons.
Yeah, so he definitely didn't forget.
So there we go. Leon van der Linden advances to 1-0 in this semi-final. We will take you back to our other table, because the action is coming thick and fast. We're heading for game number 2 in both our semis. Robin Dolar 1-0 down, and pretty handily 1-0 down, it must be said, to Dario Parazzoli. It looked like a reasonable start, and Dolar, I mean, you'd be a little scared, Matej, on the Dolar side of the table, in that it's not like you had a terrible draw. You had a lot of removal, and then here's a mastery, put you in lots of trouble.
Just overwhelmed, and that's a good way to play the zombies deck, is the fact that you can do many different things. Maybe if you watched a little bit of the GP DC stream as well from yesterday, because Sarah Zyla went 9-0 with zombies, and it demonstrated really well that you can go also very aggressive, 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, and just start attacking very fast. But there are just some points where you can just go, oh, I have 5-6 mana Diregraph Colossus, and now I'm going to play a guy because I have priority. I'm going to get a zombie token, or I can add to the board. I can just play it slow with Relentless Dead, or I can go big with Liliana's Mastery. The zombies deck is fairly adaptable to the plan. It can go big, it can go wide, which is very good. And having also removal for the key creatures of the opponent can really help push it through the damage in both of these game plans.
So Dolar will once again, as he did in game 1, begin with 6 at most. Let's see whether he likes 6. Matej, can you see much in the way of land? I cannot. No.
This is going to be very, very hard for Robin Dolar. On a Mulligan to 5 is also on the play, so 1 card short against a full grip of 7 from Dario.
This might not take long.
To be fair, we've seen Robin Dolar win against Ramina Bread on a Mulligan to 5 this weekend. Yeah, which would seem like a really bad matchup, but Robin navigated really well. To be fair, his opponent also made a few small mistakes that allowed him to get there. But yeah, Mulligan to 5 against zombies of all decks, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Robin has some good sideboard cards that he can bring in, especially Kalitas is very important, so that your removal spell actually exile the
Right.
cards, and you get some additional blockers. I think he's going to bring in something like Liliana, the last hope, to just give him more time, make the zombies a little smaller, forcing Dario Parazzoli to overcommit, as well as some more removal spells. But does he have lands here?
I'm not sure he does again.
Let's see no, Fetid Pools?
Yes, Fetid Pools. So obviously that's a keep. This looks a little...
Grasp of Darkness. It's at least a 2-mana removal spell. He might have 2 of them in his hand. I think I saw a Scarab God as well. But if there's no land on top of Robin's library, this might already be over. No, it's Swamp.
All
okay,
right.
we're back in it, boys.
Just.
Zombies on the menu. For a while.
Very good.
I mean, he has double grasp, so he can kill some stuff. So
Okay, so here's Relentless Dead.
okay, we're getting somewhere here. Choked Estuary, I think, for Robin, and he's gonna grasp the Relentless Dead while Dario cannot bring it back. Okay, are we gonna be in Comeback City?
There it is.
Okay, that's fine.
Lord of the Accursed. Well, currently that doesn't do anything to anything else. It threatens it, but...
Oh, look
not
at
yet.
that. More lands. I think Robin also has a Supreme Will. So he can either counter something or maybe dig for the 5th land. He has a Scarab God. But I think if he gets the opportunity to kill something, counter something, he's going to do that.
Looks like Parazzoli boarded into his Scrap Heap Scroungers.
And I quite like that. Against a control deck, like Robin would really need a Kalitas to permanently get rid of the Scroungers. To be fair, he also has Flaying Tendrils, which is a great way to deal with a Scrounger. But I like his sideboard plan. Just another resilient card against the control decks. Though it's not a zombie, it's just a construct.
Yeah. A reminder that Leon van der Linden with Mardu Vehicles leads Marius Heuser with Temur Energy by 1-0 in our other semi-final. If they're still going at the end of this game too, we'll go back to them.
Robin really, I think he should play Supreme Will here to try to find the Flaying Tendrils. Because otherwise, I don't see how he...
Four land.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, 4 lands.
4 land, yeah.
Okay. Which is good. I mean, he gets to put 1 in his hand, bins the other 3, and I think he might have the Scarab God, so at least he's going to put up a decent creature.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. God.
All right. Now Robin's like is basically saying like, all right, up to you to show me what you got here.
Well, Parazzoli has 2 cards, draws the 3rd. He's drawn a Relentless Dead. There's the Scarab God. By the time we get to Robin Dolar's upkeep, well, he's at 18 right now. So the Scarab God is going to start doing things.
He can start doing things, but Dario will also keep doing something. Look at that. He has another Lord. He also has a Crypt Breaker. This is actually a good place to play Lord and Crypt Breaker because it's going to make sure that at least your zombies, none of your zombies are going to die to a potential Flaying Tendrils. But Robin though is just going to start making an army of 4/4 zombies and scrying his way to some good cards.
So the only way to beat the zombies is to make zombies.
Yes.
Interesting.
You know, it's like fighting fire with fire. Just gotta fight zombies with zombies.
Okay. I feel like there's something not quite right about that, Matei, but we'll let it slide for now. Parazzoli again, the board just exploding upwards and outwards under the weight of the zombies, and they are big. Double Lord.
He's lining up the Scrap Heap Scroungers here, but I don't. At least the good thing about the Scrap Heap Scroungers is the fact that if Robin Dolar decides to reanimate it into a zombie, it still has the text that it can't block. Or does it?
They're in. Smash. Dolar thinking about this. Yeah, they're not that big, says KWJ. Well, Crypt is +2.
Right, so it's just a copy of the creature. It's a 4/4, but as I said, it still will have the text. It can't block. So at least this way, he dealt some damage, and Dario, if Dario would ever decide to bring the Scrappy Scoundrel back, Robin Dolar will be like, oh, I get a 4 that I can't block with. Okay, I guess. So it's an interesting tension here for Robin. And now he's in the upkeep. The Scarab God trigger is on the stack. Remember, this is a fairly neat trick that if you put it on the stack, even if you have no zombies, you can reanimate something. And once the trigger resolves, you get to scry 1 and also ping your opponent for X, rather, not just 1.
Right.
For the amount of zombies you control.
Yeah, it's not that often that the control decks pause in their own upkeep.
Yes.
But that's been a real feature of Dolar's play at this GP.
Yeah.
So he's going to take a Crypt Breaker, a 4/4 Crypt Breaker. Has a little look. With Scry. It looks to me like he's having a good think about that one. It's by no means certain where that's going yet. He's going to draw it.
Okay, grasp. Okay, that works. That kills at least one of the lords. But here come the cards. So big turn for Dario Parazzoli. Now he gets to draw a card, loses life from the Crypt Breaker. But if he untaps into something like a Liliana's Mastery, I would just see very little possibility of Robin crawling himself back into the game, even if he's reanimating 4/4s every turn.
So is this the turn, really?
Possibly, yeah. Also, diagraph Colossus would be huge.
Figuratively and literally.
Yep. But I mean, never discount Robin Dolar. Maybe he can find a way.
All right, Dario Parazzoli trying to sculpt his way to the second game win, which would mean a finals appearance here. He does have this game to lose, of course.
I see a Dread Wanderer and 2 more cards. Relentless Dead is one of them, and I think he had an artifact in hand. So maybe another Scrubby Scrounger, possibly. Tense moments.
Yeah, I mean, things start getting very, very tense deep on Sundays. And I think part of that is also the buildings themselves. They gradually get quieter and quieter as the afternoon and the evening progresses, and it can feel a little bit cathedral-like when you're stuck in the feature match area and you're trying to win one of these trophies.
Looks like Dario might have I think he might have a Doomfall. All right, and look, this is pretty smart too. He uses the Scrappy Scrounger when Robin stepped out to exile the Relentless Dead so that Robin cannot keep taking more creatures with the Scarab God. And also, now he gets to add another creature to the board. It's another Relentless Dead, and he'll get at least one more activation out of the Crypt Breaker before Robin maybe decides to Grasp of Darkness it. So I quite like this play. No creatures in the graveyard anymore. No zombies to reanimate.
Right, and none in his own either right now to grasp. And the Supreme Will.
Yep, and Scrabby Scrounge doing some overtime here. Yes, right to the bottom. As Robin is just digging for good cards, but just the grasp. I think he has to take care of the Crypt Breaker because that's really threatening to take over the game.
Yeah.
All the extra cards where while Robin is not really doing anything, that Dario would just draw into more gas. But I think Dario just needs one big haymaker to fully take control of this game.
Right, and I mean, if you're a control player in the top 8 of a GP and you don't understand that there's a card advantage engine on the other side of the table, something's not right there. Yeah. So I imagine you're going to be spot on, and that Parazzoli's Crypt Breaker is not going to last long.
Yeah, another thing that can also happen, I think, as I said, Dario, I think has a Doomfall in his hand, so that means that now that there's been a activation from Crypt Breaker. Now Robin does go for the Doomfall. This also means that Robin will be able to reanimate it.
The grasp.
The grasp. Yeah. Now we might see the reanimation. No, not just yet. I was thinking that maybe Dario would be able to start attacking if he just manages to put Robin Dolar down to a Scarab God. We'll see. Dario also drew a swamp. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, Robin. Yep, stopping Dario in his tracks. I want to take the Crypt Breaker here, tapping out. Now you can draw a card. moments.
I mean, he's still at 15. He's starting to get a bunch of 4-4s together.
Yep, yep. If Dario would decide to play Doomfall here, it would eat one of the crit breakers, and 2 biggest creatures would get blocked, or maybe probably just the Lords of the Curse, and Dario would only hit for 6, 10, putting Dario down to 5, losing a lot of his board. So I don't think Dario is going to be attacking this turn.
So has Dolar stemmed the bleeding? Let's see. It looks...
Yeah.
I mean, you don't pick it up unless you're thinking about it.
Yep. So, yeah, because Dario, it has menace, right? So Robin can only block with the Scarab God and 1 more creature, or potentially 2 crit breakers. It doesn't really matter. So Dario's thinking, okay, I can kill one of my opponent's zombies. I can bring back the Relentless Dead easily, while Robin is tapped out, replay it, and then have the threat again for the following turn. So I think that Dario's playing this pretty well. He knows his deck in and out, it seems.
All right, so back we go. Next choice along the path towards the final. Nope. I'm just going to take it. I'm going to fall to 11.
This is fine for Dario. Now Robin's just getting lower and lower with his life. Dario is probably going to play another zombie. There's a Crypt Breaker, even better. Probably a Dread Wanderer. Now he's going to flood the board and leave up Doomfall mana.
There's your Dread Wanderer. And Dolar now at 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on Parazzoli's side of the table.
Yeah, and potentially next turn, Dario can use a Lord of the Accursed to give his zombies menace as well. Now that he has more of them, I can give all of them.
Incidentally, I can tell you that you have not missed the conclusion of our second semi-final, because Leon van der Linden is now tied with Marius Heuser, 1 apiece. Teamer energy for Heuser, Mardu vehicles for van der Linden. So we will head to, well, hopefully some of Game 3 when this game is done.
Yeah, I think we might be close. Still some scrying going on.
Robin to 13 by the looks of things.
Ooh, seems like he likes it. Now I want to know. He's potentially looking at something like Fatal Push or Grasp. I think he went for... Yes, he has a Torrential Gearhog, so that's pretty good. Because he can play the Gearhog and use the Grasp in his graveyard to kill one of the Lords.
So off we go. Dolar did all the business in upkeep, but Parazzoli is also behaving a bit like a control deck. Oh, not doing anything. End of turn. I'll just lose a life that I don't really care about and draw a card which I really do care about.
Right. But he's going to take the Crypt Breaker here, and I'm just wondering if it's enough with the menace from the Lord of the Accursed. Let's get Crypt Breaker and Dread Wanderer menace as well. Scrappy Scrounger's attacking. We'll see. Dario Palazzo had a card from the Crypt Breaker, and he might just draw something else that's really good here. Yeah, they're looking at life. So what life are you on?
Is this over?
Right. So if he were to activate the menace, then he would probably double block the biggest zombie and block one of the Scroungers. It still seems like a lot of damage coming through. Yeah, and it looks like Dario has something as well. Yeah, I think I think this is lethal.
Menace it is.
4/4. Yeah, if he
one thing
He can block 2 creatures.
Right.
Let's put it this way. He can only block 2 creatures. He can either block the 2 Scrappy Scroungers, or he can block the Dread Wanderer. Probably has the highest power. That is 4, and then 1 Scrappy Scrounger. That would still mean that the zombies are coming in for 7. Oh wait, there is probably a 4, 7. I think I see 10.
Well, 10 isn't 11.
Yeah.
He said helpfully.
Yeah. So he double blocks the Dread Wanderer. And blocks the one of the Scrappy Scroungers. Yeah, remember one of the Lord of the Cursed did not attack. It was used to activate the ability, giving everything menace. So I think he's going to go down to 1. Chat backing me up. I love it.
Yeah, it's generally helpful when most people think that we're on the right sum.
Yeah. That's a nice math. I could say. Okay, wait. Yeah, Robin's like line up. I thought he was saying like these blocks are final. Yeah, so there's the one of the blocks that has to happen, and now he has to double block the Dread Wanderer because it has 4 power. Yeah, so Relentless that is 4. Lord of course is 3, and the unblocked Scrappy Scrounger is 3. So that's 10.
Is that?
I think so. Some people are saying it's 11. Right, so 4 plus 3.
So what?
4 plus 3 plus 3.
Okay.
That's, yep. I see 10.
Okay.
And, you know, the fun part would be that Robin Dolar would have lethal on the swing back. Because he's going to drain, and he has a huge attack as well. But we don't know what Dario has in his hand. Yeah, so
wow.
Down to 1.
Has Robin found a way out here?
He might have.
Come on.
Yeah.
He mulligans for 5.
Yep. Does he have something that can like drain for 1, or did he just miscount? Maybe he was overconfident it was lethal. Maybe he has not Doomfall. And he would have played it before attacking, surely. He can still have a blocker. Dario suddenly lost a bit of his swagger that he had going to this turn. He's just bringing a Dread Wanderer, and that is tapped.
I can tell you that we have our first finalist. And Leon van der Linden, with Mardu vehicles, has driven himself into the final of Grand Prix Turin. So now, will it be vehicles against zombies or vehicles against blue-black control? Parazzoli is 1 life point away.
And he's backing up his cards. Robin Dolar from the brink of death. Oof.
That was crazy.
Yep, I think Dario either miscounted or just didn't realize he was one short.
They've said that's. Let's confirm that is.
Okay.
2-0.
What are we missing here? That was 10 a drain. Yeah, that was more than enough damage. So, oh yeah, it is 1-1.
Yes.
All right.
There we go. There we go.
Okay, 1-1. Our life bar deceived us for a second, but we're back.
That's taken months off my life. I was like, how did that happen? No.
All right. I'm glad we were correct. But that was a game. And you know what? These sorts of things have happened before. As I mentioned earlier, one of Robin's opponents today, he had lethal on the board, and everything he needed to do was activate his scavenger grounds to prevent a torrential Gearhulk flashback, and his opponent didn't see it, and Robin went on to win the game because of that. And here it happened again. If Dario had just not attacked, just passed the turn, used a Script Breaker to draw a card, and just like done it 1 turn later when once he had more creatures on the board, he would have been fine. But he just decided to attack. He didn't have lethal. And now we're going to game 3.
Good grief. Robin Dolar. So we can't go across to our other semi-final because Leon van der Linden has advanced by 2-1 over Marius Heuser and Temur Energy.
Whew. Good grief. And was that the game that Robin mulliganed to 5 cards?
Yes.
5 again.
Yes, it was.
Amazing.
Incidentally, I wanted to talk to you. You said it's a touchy subject for people.
Okay.
This idea of slow play. And you used a phrase about Robin. You said he's a slow player, he's a deliberate player.
Yes.
And then you quantified, but not in a bad way. And I would just like to add to that, I've watched an awful lot of Magic of Robin Dolar over the years because although he is relatively new in the recent GP scene, we haven't seen him for a while. There was a period where he was making 1 to 2 GP top 8s a year for a while, and he's a no to control player. If he was a slow player, as in capital S, capital P, someone who should be punished for slow play, in other words, he would have plenty of draws on his resume. He does not.
No.
He takes the time to make the choices that matter when they matter, and make sure that because he thinks he's better than most of his opponents, that he doesn't lose 2 points by drawing to them. It is not in his interest to play at a pace where he's going to end up losing points. And you do see players with a lot of draws in their record, and you think, yeah, you're playing a bit slower than the game wants you to. And Robin Dolar is not that. Yeah,
the main difference here is being that Robin Dolar is not the kind of player that when he has nothing in his hand, that he's shuffling 2 lands in his hand, just bluffing something. He's just the type of player that, as you said, takes the decisions when they matter.
So Dario Parazzoli now has to gather himself and attempt to find a win in game number 3.
Oh, he does have lands that they're a little more tapped than he would like. I think he has a Sunken Hollow hand. Checking the Metallic Mimic, what it does. Maybe even 2 Sunken Hollows in Robin's hand there. But I think I saw Gifted Aetherborn, a card that he surely has brought in for this matchup. He also, pretty sure he brought in some Kalitas. I think I saw a Liliana as well in his hand now. And I think he just wants to sideboard out some of his counter magic, something like Disallow, maybe a couple of the Supreme Wills. He can shave a few cards here and there. Even Censor is really not great in this matchup, especially on the draw.
Yeah, Gifted Aetherborn feels like it would buy Dolar quite a bit of time.
Yeah, now again, you see Robin is taking time because he has a Fatal Push. This is one of the problems when he has such a reputation that at this point Dario knows about the Fatal Push, and Robin Dolar is forced to play it here because otherwise Dario just knows about it anyway. He can maybe find a way to play around it or do something else. So Robin goes for it and kills the Metallic Mimic, not the Crypt Breaker, which is interesting. I think that might signal something like Liliana, the Last Hope.
It's another Mimic. Comes down, in goes the Crypt Breaker.
Draws a Grasp. Does he have the 3rd land somewhere?
Not sure he does.
Yeah, I thought he had a tapped one, maybe another Sunken Hollow or Fetid Pools. But I wouldn't bet on it. Not a betting man.
No, it looks like he may have kept a hand with plenty of early removal and thought, I'll get there. There is very definitely a Gifted Aetherborn and a Grasp of Darkness we can see. Do we get there?
Yeah. Tense moments here for Bobby Dollars, as his friends like to call him.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves that.
No, he doesn't.
No. Meanwhile, Leon van der Linden waits in the final. Mardu Vehicles.
Okay, this time he goes to kill the Crypt Breaker, which is interesting. But Dario Parazzoli is a bit lower on cards, and while they're deliberately talking about something here, but the Metallic Mimic can help to pump up further zombies. Might just be true that Dario doesn't have that much going on. The worst scenario would be if Dario played 2 zombies here, and he's just starting off with the Transgress the Mind.
Okay, so we get to see Kalitas, we get to see Glimmer of Genius, we get to see Gifted Etherborn, we get to see the Scarab God, we get to see Supreme Will, and we get to see Liliana, the Last Hope.
Just a bunch of good cards. And yeah, Dario thinking he cannot take the Gifted Etherborn, but he's surely looking at the Liliana, the Kalitas, and saying to himself, like, if I just hope you don't draw lands, that's my best plan.
Right.
Yeah, so he goes for Liliana, which makes sense because if Robin just draws one land, he could immediately play it and then plus Liliana to kill the Metallic Mimic. There's also a 3/3 Relentless Dead.
And an attack. So 16. Now, Dolar, is there a third land this time? Yes, there is. Here's a Gifted Etherborn. There's a third land. That was a good turn for Robin Dolar.
Indeed, and he just wants to keep the lands coming because he has the Glimmer, he has the Kalitas, he has the Scarab God. He has the power in his hand to get through this. And it's going to be interesting to see what Dario can do about this. I think he's just running super low on cards. I think he had another Relentless Dead, which is great because of the Menace. But
13 now for Dolar.
Yeah.
2 cards for Parazzoli. Yes, there's a Relentless Dead in his right hand, and there's a 5th land. So this will empty his hand. No big bonus for that. It's not like a Hazaret getting yourself nearly empty improves things. This is what Dario Parazzoli has right now. Robin Dolar could still do with seeing lands.
It is, but it's tapped. Choked Estuary.
Okay.
At least. This is going to be a close one. We see the Supreme Will in Robin's hand. That can maybe counter something, but Dario knows about it.
Can't cast the Glimmer.
Yep.
Can't get as far as Kalitas yet. Can't get to Scarab God.
We're gonna, as you see the overlay. No, it's already switched back there. There was just someone doing our live totals there, clicking on the wrong window for a second, but we're back.
Good stuff.
There we go. And now we see the double Menace threat swinging for 6 here, and Robin is firmly under pressure to do something here. I think he will be forced to play that Supreme Will. And the thing about the Relentless is that, as I've mentioned as we previewed this game, it's a problem to kill. At this point, there's a Fatal Push. Now what Robin needs is an untapped land, because in that case he would be able to play Kalitas and play the Fatal Push.
Here we go then.
This is it.
Untapped land? That doesn't look like any kind of land.
No. Still time. Still a bit of time left. Remember, he has also the Gifted Etherborn. It could swing in. Going to be tense here. Remember, Relentless Dead, when it dies, not only can it return itself, also return another zombie.
So here's Kalitas. Dolar at 7. Parazzoli with a card. About to be 2.
He's gonna do the MTG Mint card special.
Oh my lord.
Put the card at the back. If near Deadlands, okay. It's not bad.
If you want to play another man, please come to the side stage.
It's not great. That is not bad. I mean, as far as lands go, he'd rather see this than a swamp.
Right.
But the question is, what can he do with it? He could make the Kalitas into 1/2. Or the Gifted Etherborn to 0/1. That might not matter.
So are we back in a world, you think, Matej, where we're looking for that 5th land again?
Possibly. I think he can make do with 4. The Sensor. Okay. Look at that. Dario didn't attack there. Into the Kalitas and the Gifted Earphone, and of course, like a double block would mean that while he might kill the Gifted Etherborn, Robin would gain 5 as well, and that Relentless that would, instead of heading to the graveyard, would get exiled. So I think maybe Robin Dolar, and I've learned this idiom today correctly, he has gotten over the hump.
Yes, you were correct that over the hill and over the hump are not the same. Very definitely not. Although a hill could be described as a hump.
Right. So Robin can just pass. He has a supreme will to counter something like a Liliana's Mastery. What is happening here?
Parazzoli says I'm going to activate.
And he cannot activate the Ifnir Deadlands at the end of the turn. He's not.
No, what's he?
And I think he just tried to, and I think the judge sitting there just told him you can only activate a sorcery.
See, look at that! Look at that word sorcery on the card.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love how you can read what the player is saying and thinking just by you know, experience and body language.
Yes, he was very much like this in his quarterfinal against Simon Nielsen. A lot of self-deprecation, a lot of like, oh my God, I'm playing so badly. What am I doing? No. But let's see if he can navigate away to a victory.
Yeah. Second try.
Here we go again. Drink, reach out.
I think it's going to resolve without any issues.
Yeah.
But I think Robin's going to get there. I don't.
Hopefully we can get a purple dice onto that Kalitas with a bit of luck, because it is -2, not +2. Well, don't want to confuse you at home. Lovely, there we go. Thank you. Magic's confusing enough.
Yep. So now Robin has another tough decision. He could give Dario another card and have the Crypt Breaker resolve, but I think what he's going to do here, he's going to, again, now maybe a small mistake, activating the Ifnir Deadlands first and then casting Crypt Breaker. I think he should have gone the other way around if he wanted to cast the Crypt Breaker. And also, Supreme will get to counter that, and I think Robin is at the point where he's going to play the Fatal Push on one of the Relentless Dead here.
Let's see if you're right, Matej. Goodness knows you usually are. A reminder that when this game finally closes out and we have our finals, you've then got hours and hours more live Magic coming to you from Grand Prix Washington, D.C. Best guess, the last couple of rounds of Swiss, plus all of the top 8 live as it happens from the capital of the United States of America.
Scarab God. Bland.
Okay. Up to 5.
Right.
If he wants, which
Yeah.
he will. Scarab God, if he wants, which presumably he will.
Yeah. He already has a zombie in play.
Mardu Vehicles, Leon van der Linden, waiting patiently for the final against one of these two. If you're Mardu Vehicles, Matej, do you want to see zombies or do you want to see blue-black control?
Hard to say. I think he probably would like to. He prefer to face the blue-black control. The thing is, with the Leon's deck, we call it Mardu Vehicles, but it's more akin to the Mardu Ballista decks that we've seen in some of the previous standard formats, because it's a little slower.
Right.
So that could be better for Robin, but on the other hand, he would have to deal with like a much bigger variety of threats. That could be a problem. I'm curious myself how that will play out.
I think one thing we've learned from watching this game is that never mind the deck, you probably don't want to play Robin Dolar very much.
Yeah, pretty much.
He is good. There's the Scarab God, land 5 and the Scarab God. We did a lot of, he did a lot of thinking after we said land 5 and Scarab God, but that is what ended up happening on the table.
Yeah, I mean, Dario, maybe he'll be happy about finally he can get rid of the Kalitas off the board with the Ifnir Deadlands, but I think that's a little bit too late at this point, because while the Kalitas might die, then he has to deal with a Scarab God who's doing basically the same thing as Kalitas, and just cost him 2 turns and not doing much else.
I can't really believe we're still here with Robin Dolar not out of the tournament.
Yeah.
I just...
Like he was supposed to be out so many times already. Like he was on the back foot, mulliganing to 5 and still clawing his way back. And partly proving his friend Andre Strasky wrong, because Andre said that the blue-black is the worst deck in Standard.
Well, maybe Dolar was handicapping the field, giving everyone else a chance.
And maybe in Andre's hands, you know, the deck's not as good.
Oh, wow, you can't say that.
I did go there, so
Wow.
I had to. But I only say this because Andre is a good friend of mine.
I was going to say, I could certainly never say that.
No, you couldn't, no.
I mean, obviously you're right, but... No,
yeah.
all right, so Dario Parazzoli somehow has got to try and this time claw his way back into a match that looked all but won. He was 1-0 up. He was 7 cards to 5 up. Well, indeed, 8 cards to 5 up in the second game. He was any number of creatures ahead in the second game. And 1 life point away. Yeah,
Dario even just declining to use the if new deadlands here. But look at that. He's already going to drain. Scry.
That's going to the bottom. Is it just going through the motions now for Dolar, or
He still has to be careful. Yeah, he needs to be careful about Dario Parazzoli can still draw maybe some sort of removal to bring him back to the game. Like Liliana's Mastery could be interesting. It could just make his board that much bigger, more threatening. But I think even with the Liliana's Mastery, he should be fine.
But maybe 2 of those back
Maybe
to
2
back.
of those, yeah, exactly,
so
yes.
Suddenly you've got 4 4/4s over the next 2 turns.
Yep.
So the home turf is currently being defended by Dario Parazzoli, but it's starting to look like we may see the Netherlands against Slovenia in the final. Once again, when the final is done, we'll have a word with the winner here in the booth, and then we will head you straight across the Atlantic to GP Washington, D.C. Can the Mono White Eldrazi, as piloted by the likes of Seth Manfield, brackets 8-1, Brad Nelson, brackets 8-1, and Corey Baumeister, brackets 9-0, overnight, get the job done? They are well into their Swiss rounds, probably round about round 13 at the moment. Heading towards 14, you'll see the last couple of rounds of Swiss and all of the top 8 live right here with us on this channel, twitch.tv/magic.
Almost every turn that Dario draws a card, he just puts his hand on his head and is like, oh, what do I have to do to win this one? A Crypt Breaker could be a decent start. Okay, he drew Liliana's Defeat.
Right. So that says, let's get rid of this Scarab God, and Robin wants to actually have a look.
Right, so it does say destroy target black creature or black planeswalker, and you might see why would Dario Parazzoli do something like this? It's because there's an scavenger grounds in play on Dario's board. So if Robin lets this resolve, then Scarab God goes to Drugaria, even though it's going to trigger. It still says at the beginning of the next end step. So before that happens, Dario can exile all creatures.
Right,
from all
he has a
areas.
window, we would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But still, Robin in response, he could reanimate something with the Scarab God's ability, because Dario will not will wait to get rid of the Scarab God. Full stop. He doesn't really change that much, I would think.
So many twists and turns between the start of a top 8 and finally getting there.
Yeah.
Cycle.
Grasp.
That's a little bit better than a sensor, I would say, at this point in the game.
Yep.
Using all my skill and judgment, I can confirm.
Yeah. Now Robin's like, okay, here's my mana, and I'm going to take a... I love this. Like, yeah, what do we have here? Oh, okay. You know what's better than a 1/1 Crypt Breaker? 4/4 Crypt Breaker.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm glad you told me. I'd have struggled with that one.
I know, and I like that the artist just a zombie opening the door. A 4/4 Crypt Breaker. It just steps on the door and barges in.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, Dario.
Yep. Graveyard. Scarecrow died. Now exile all cards from all graveyards. There we go. Right. But I think... I don't think this is going to change much. Yeah, now Robin's going to untap. And he has Grasp, Kalitas, Glimmer.
And like another Glimmer.
Yeah, I think he's double Glimmer. But I think he should firmly just take the initiative here. Yeah. He's going to boop. The Relentless Dead. It's not going to go to Drugare. That's going to get exiled because of Kalitas. It's going to get a zombie.
There was a little head gesture there from Dario that made me think he knows this is done.
Yep. And Robin can also, like, the zombie that cannot attack this turn because it was created just now, he can sacrifice to the Kalitas to make it a 3/4 again. And that just gained life back. And just hit in for a ton of damage. Yeah, there we go.
There is the handshake. And Robin Dolar, it's Dario-over. Parazzoli is gone. Robin Dolar advances to the $10,000 matchup, which is the final against Leon van der Linden. Mardu vehicles / ballista, if you like, up against Robin Dolar. Let's bring it back to the booth. Here at Grand Prix Turin, Rich Hagen sitting alongside Matej Bigsy Zadelkai. Okay, Matej,